screen and just
Here we are live. Hi, everybody. Joe Moore, joined by the Sphinx Gate team, Marisa and Tanya. How are you both doing today?
Really well, thank you. So much to do. so rocking and rolling, but a little overwhelmed. How about you, Marisa?
Yeah, it's been quite the juggling act, and feeling like we're really well supported by a lot of amazing humans, and really grateful, and then sometimes like incredibly overwhelmed.
That's all.
Like,
everything.
Oh.
Right. So like after the everything everywhere all at once and all the time. So.
Yeah. You got some of that too, Joe, don't you, with your art
car?
Don't worry about me. Yeah, no, it's like wrangling camp. I'm somehow camp lead now this year too. But yeah, I think thankfully I'm not like the mechanical lead for the car. But it's going to be really great. So let's dig in and talk. Like, what is Sphinx Gate?
What is the Sphinx Gate? So the shtick is the way to go, just because it's got the whole thing. So the shtick is this, that the world is in a hard place. We're all asking, what can we do to help? It's a really big question. Only the fate of humanity is at stake. It's the kind of question you bring to a Sphinx. And Sphinxes, they're not really straightforward creatures, mysterious guardians of threshold. It's really hard to pin down what they do and how they work, but the thing that we do see the most common is that they flip these kind of questions back around on the person asking and say, look within, know thyself. You have a big question, ask within, because as above, so below. And so we thought this is a worthy thing to bring to Burning Man, two towering Sphinxes, 34 feet tall, inspired by the Neverending Story, to invite humans to better know themselves. And we've created an immersive, interactive art quest that takes people through a little journey and invites them to better know themselves through their breath, asking what is the hard thought, the riddle of their mind, how do they play with it through their body, how do they feel it, how can they give it love and acceptance, and what's it here to teach them, and how do we do all this in community? So we're asking really, how can we make it fun to work on ourselves? How can we make it a communal thing? How can we destigmatize it? How can we celebrate this journey? Did I miss anything, Tanya?
Well, I wouldn't say you missed anything. There's a lot. There's a lot to it. It's far more than an art project that you typically see out there. There's quite a mission behind it. I think everyone here can agree that art can be transformative, and so can play. So we're harnessing the powers of art and play to help people find their own way through transformation, and to develop the bonds, the relationships that we have in community that will support us there through all of it.
So yeah, art is transformative. So we're talking about Burning Man, everybody. This is coming up really soon. I don't think we named it out loud. This is a really big art thing in the desert. And I think, when we decide to bring projects there, sometimes they can really grow out of control. But it's kind of like an extension of what's happening inside of us, right? Like we have this like really interesting vision. We have these really interesting imprints from Neverending Story from our youth, and all of a sudden, oh, look at this. I have this opportunity to make this thing very real and hopefully have a really awesome message. And I think, there's some psychedelic metaphor and fun stuff there, but, just art, and we're doing something big, which is on one hand irrational, on the other hand, like imperative, kind of, right? It's like, how do we not do this irrational thing? Yeah.
Are you calling us irrational?
I know I am.
We'll embrace it in a world where, like, what is rational anyway? The world's pretty upside down in a million ways. Like, let us embrace being a little irrational. And if you're going to throw a big party in the desert, well, let's make the biggest thing and make it about something really important and make it fun.
Yeah. I think that a key piece to whether or not something is rational is to realize that one's rationale comes from your own code, comes from your own perspective. And if you're shifting your perspective, you can change what feels rational or not. And I think that folks listening to your podcast would probably relate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I personally come from a strange transrational perspective where I don't know what weighs up most of the time. So I think of it as a good thing.
I like that.
Primarily.
I've never heard
So,
that. I think I'm with you. I subscribe to that channel.
Yeah, like where is the superposition? Who knows?
What is truth? There is no absolute truth. So let's like stop pretending there is.
There's lots of truth.
Exactly.
And speaking of transrational, we've coined a term, transmersive. We're using it because the word immersive is just too broad at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
So, and for context, we're talking about immersive art, which is the big thing that Meow Wolf has been doing. That there's escape rooms. This idea that you go into an experience, you are fully in it, so you're immersed in it, right? But we want to like take that to the next step and get a little more specific. This is transformative, immersive art designed to help you better know yourself, and so you become a part of the art by engaging with it, very much like we see in the Neverending Story.
Right, exactly. Like the incredible, for me, I'm always trying to reach a place in my art where the way that somebody interacts with it actually changes the experience for themselves and for others who are also experiencing the art, maybe at the same time or maybe later. And then the extra edge of when people are like conscious of the fact that what they are doing, the way they are experiencing it, changes the experience for others, so that we are all co-creating.
It's very meta.
Wait, so am I going to be able to put on some microphone and be the Sphinxes?
You could definitely come volunteer with us, and you could at least be the oracle.
I mean, I kind of want to see Joe dressed up like a Sphinx and come walking through with some microphones and see your version of that. That would please take that as, so Friday we're doing a Fantasia Friday. As Burning Man has Tutu Tuesdays and White Wednesdays, we're like, let's really bring it and invite everyone to bring their favorite Fantasia character, which I think it would be great if you dressed up as one of our Sphinxes.
Or anything, really. I mean, it's the world of human imagination.
There's going to be, just for context, anyone at Burning Man, we're doing a parade in March from Center Camp, either at 4 or 5. We'll put those details out soon.
There's going to be a party at Center Camp, and at 6 o'clock we will start parading to the Sphinxes, where there will be quite the show. Go ahead, Marisa.
Or 5:30, whatever. We're still figuring out. We're still locking in this timeline here. And then once you get to the Sphinxes, we have a performance by Fufu Ha, and we have Abraxas and 2 other dragons, as well as Beat Kitty and a few other wonderful DJs, and I think fire dancers. It's going to be quite the spectacle.
It's going to be a spectacle, spectacular. So it's going to be something you haven't maybe seen from Fufu Ha before. It's going to be a whole ritual.
Can you describe who Fufu is and Abraxas? And I think we're being really abstract and insider right now. So I kind of want to let's start it
okay.
What is Burning Man? Why are you guys doing something out there?
Good start. Burning Man is a radical experiment in a different way of being with each other. An entire city gets built very, very quickly with everything gifted. Everything's gifted. There's no commodification. In fact, people really try to erase that, any evidence of the commodified world that we live in default. Everyone's offering something, an experience, food, art, play, music. It's incredible, truly, truly incredible. It's hard to believe when you're out there. No matter how many times you've gone, you see the city come up and you're just like, how? This is amazing. And then it's gone. And not a trace. Really leave no trace is very, very, very important. Like micro tiny pieces of human civilization, quote unquote, erased from the playa every year. It's incredibly spectacular. People are just so open, and like everyone's adventuring in an exploratory mode. It's very special, and it's all gifting. There's no money exchange except for ice, because that's like life support.
I like to one of the most extraordinary things about this that have always been really meaningful for me in my own growth. Like my first one was 1999. This is going to be my 16th or 17th, or is that to play on this transrational idea is it gets you out of your sort of default mode of this is what it is like to be living in community with other people, and it totally shifts it. And over the last few years, over the last like 7 years, since I've gotten deeply involved in the psychedelic space, I've been camping with the Foamy Homies, which is a lot of folks from David Bronner's, the Maps and Zendo folks are camped there. And it is like, wow, we are deeply surrounded by the people, our community that we are building this movement with. And you're like in a village for that week or several weeks if you get to be a part of the build and the strike. And getting to experience that, as well as just being here to explore, to live, to play. What lights me up? How do I live with that in mind? Is a different orientation to, I live at home. I have to do my work to pay the bills. I might get to blow off a little steam and go dancing at night or see some friends, but the majority is kind of work to pay, to live. And for this 1 week in the desert, we all get to play with what it makes us alive. How do we contribute? How do we be in village and community? And like for me, it really helped me shift what I thought was possible in life, and start to dream really insane big things like 34 feet tall Sphinxes. For healing, right? For playing and healing. So yeah.
That's the first time I've heard the size.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And Burning Man is a huge challenge. It's not all fun and games. It's work. It's hard. It makes you. It forces you. It throws up a really big mirror with a lot of light on it for you to see, like, who you are when things can be challenging, and when you're vulnerably in community with many other people, many of whom you don't know. There's a lot of lessons. And there's this really beautiful tradition called the temple that I think is unique around the world. We don't have to go into it, but there's a lot of spirit, a lot of heart, and very international.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think like I've been trying to go since like as early as 2007, and I wasn't able to pull it off till like 4 years ago. So
I was going to say, Joe, this must be like your 20th burn. Really?
Right. Some people say I'm born out there. I was born out there, but it's not true. It's not. No, when we first went, people are like, "Wow, you've been at this a long time." Because we pulled some people out of some stupid shit our first year. Like, what are you doing? Like, what? Like, because you get kind of lost in like your patterns out there.
Especially happening in Burning Man? No.
Yeah, like, wait a second. You've been babysitting these people for a decade? Get out of there. What are you doing? People getting lost and losing their bikes, and we're like, oh yeah, give us 20 minutes and we'll help you and you're good. They're like, oh yeah, and we take people home, and they're like, how many times have you done it? This is our first year. Like, this isn't that, like, it's hard, but it's not that hard. Like, I've been outside before. I've gone to festivals. Like, some people haven't left LA, it turns out.
Yeah, that's true.
So, although for the listeners, there's a lot of folks in altered states, so there's this added additional level of complexity.
Yes, exactly.
Burning Man is where I cut my teeth on how to like navigate the world in altered states, and just to give a little love to those poor ones who were.
I know.
I guess. I got a lot of practice in like Las Vegas and fish shows and other festivals. So it's like there's certain levels of complexity. There's not really a good address system. A lot of these places, and I'm like, oh, cool. I got coordinates, perfect. Like nailed it.
It's a good teacher, the playa.
Oh yeah, it's really good practice. Anyway, okay, that's Burning Man. So, what inspired? Like, well, okay, so let's talk about Neverending Story. I think we got to go there first. So,
Please.
like, this is a movie that hit me at a pretty young age. It was kind of like in this peak Hollywood era, right? 85, 86. We were actually getting really interesting movies that were inspiring for us. You know, we're starting to maybe get back at that these days, but you know, Goonies, Neverending Stories, a few others, right? Labyrinth, like, you know, epic, like really
Yeah.
epoch defining for me. Like, were they? Did those movies like really speak to you, or Neverending Story very specifically was like hit home?
You named them the best ones right there. You just like named all my favorites. Maybe Dark Crystal was in there
Dark
a little.
Crystal. And
I used to put that on my dating profiles when I was dating, and nobody liked it. So I was like, all right, yeah, online dating's not for me in Colorado, I guess.
or you know, you just realize really quickly that they're compatible. Good marker. You want to qualify people, really, don't you?
It's fair. That's fair.
Before you spend time. Yeah, Neverending Story is a peak moment in the craft of like creatures and props. It's really special. It's before animatronics. So it's just had its 40th anniversary last year, and we went to go see it. All the theaters in town screened it, and after so long, I think Reese and I have seen it many times on the small screen or on a projector in someone's house, and we were working on this project for so long, and would say, okay, well, you know, maybe the special effects don't really stand up. It's not quite as magical as it seemed when we were children, but then we saw it on the big screen, and oh my God, the magic is all still there. You just have to see it with that big, bright, you can see all the details. It's so impressive what they created. Yeah, and it's just such an incredible story. Actually, highly recommend the book as well.
I didn't know there was a book.
Long.
Oh my God. Okay, you don't know the book. I'll say, especially for all the psychonauts listening to this, if you want a journey, a psychedelic journey of the most extraordinary, it like really shares the story of the human condition and all its follies and all its illusions in such a psychedelic way. It's so special. And the movie is only a quarter of the book. So there's a British narrated version that I think they took offline because they're supposed to be remaking the movie. And I think the people who are remaking the movie are actually like the people behind Guillermo del Toro's films, like some of the production team there. So we have hope that it's going to be awesome. Yeah, it's just a really wonderful book that I highly recommend listening to. And then, yeah, I'll say it is one of the most extraordinary stories, the part that was made into a movie, because for those who are unfamiliar, you know, a little boy finds a book called The Neverending Story, a literal book, and he hides away and he reads it in an attic. And as he's reading about the world of human imagination, world of fantasia being eaten by the nothing, his reading of it makes him a part of the story. And you know, he's just the whole time he can't believe that he's actually becoming a part of the story. He's like, I'm just a little boy, I don't matter. Like, why do you guys think I need to keep my feet on the ground? I need to be rational. And we're like, everybody in the whole movie is like, you've got to believe and think that you matter, basically. And he has this sort of, okay, I'm not going to say too much, except that, you know, things work out. It's a fantasy film in the 80s. Things work out. And they work out because he believes in himself, that he matters. And I think, you know, like, from being someone who spent a lot of my life feeling like I don't matter, and that some people like, whatever, I'm just one of those people that are not doing the big things out there. I'm just gonna, you know, live my little life content, to like seeing that and being like, wait, do we matter? Can we matter? You know, that really laid us some groundwork for me thinking about this. And then this whole project, for example, and a few other projects that I've gotten to make, and is this idea of like, I'm going to fucking decide that I matter. Even if it seems super impossible and super irrational, I'm going to do it. And for that reason, you know, it's worthy. Like, there was only one or two people who ever commented when they saw our Facebook post about this. They're like, oh, wow, you're making art about another people's art, about a movie, you know, and it's just like, bro, you're missing the whole point. Like, there's such a depth to this, and also we're adding so much artistry and totally making it different. But the inspiration of we matter, and that message getting out and helping people connect to that in themselves is a big why here.
Yeah. Well said, Marisa. Really.
Mm.
The way that we frame it, the creators of the film were tapping into the same thing that we are. And the Sphinxes are a very mysterious phenomenon across a big part of the world has Sphinxes in their archaeological record. And nobody really knows why, like where the origin of this like particular chimera came from, the story. And there are so many people when we started really like coming forward with like really like talking about this project we're working on. There are so many people who have wanted to do this, what we're doing, to build the Sphinx Gate for other people. It is wild. It's wild. Our architect, in fact, who we found very magically, so much magic. We're into something just like they did.
I think there's at least, I would say at least 10 bigger artists, people who have sketched it out, who have thought it through, like Tanya bringing up Jason Chase, you know, also a co-lead of this project, architect who's been working on it now probably close to 3 years.
2 years.
Who's in San Diego, who flies up to Oakland to work and build every weekend with us, just like such a powerhouse. This is 2 years ago. I'm going to weave in 2 years ago. Mike Margolis and I are camped at Zendo, and Mike is my co-founder partner at the Global Psychedelic Society along with Jazz. And Mike and I are wandering around, and he hears me tell everyone about the Sphinx Gate because this thing has been in the works incessantly. Like I'm constantly evangelizing to the chagrin of all my friends.
Same.
But the thing is, they keep seeing us bringing more people in, so it's like, okay, you got to do it. But anyway, so Mike's seeing me do this with everyone, and he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about, Marisa. You're crazy. And then 2 weeks later, he calls me and goes, Marisa, why are there 2 Sphinxes in the front yard, in my front yard, like on the playa, on the beach, in front of his place? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He sends me this photo, and it's 2 15-foot tall cutouts of Sphinxes set up just like the Sphinxes from the Neverending Story. And I'm like, you have to find out everything you can. And there's an Instagram handle, and I reach out to the guy, and it's Jason. And I'm like, hey, so my friend found your Sphinxes. Curious to learn more. Tell me about it. And he's like, oh yeah, we brought this for a regional burn, but we want to bring the Sphinxes to Burning Man. And I'm like, oh, funny. We also are working on bringing the Sphinxes to Burning Man. We've been working on it for 3 years, and you know, we basically talked about our ideas. And he's like, I want to help you guys. Let's like do this. And so here we are. But that's like one story of like 5 others or 10 others that have all been like, we also had sketches to do this thing.
Yeah, so many people are turning up. There's a call. It's a very powerful moment for those of us who, especially those of us who were 10 years old at the time. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, totally. And like, I mean, this is, we also are like, you know, we're just the stewards. We're just the helping make the thing happen. This is bigger than us. It feels very often like I think one of the fueling forces over the 6 years that this has been an ideation, and many, like, you know, some starts and stops, some very like tears and deep frustrations, is this just like searing image in my mind's eye of like, this is a myth. We're bringing something insane to life, and I don't know what we're opening. It feels like a massive gate of, I mean, obviously it's a gate, but it's like some sort of new threshold that feels really important and special. And I think it's as close to bringing a myth to life. You know, we're doing it. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm so intrigued.
We know what we hope will happen.
What do we hope will happen?
We hope that lots of people will write back to us and tell us how their mission played out. Because people who come and do the experience, they will be gifted a mission to continue their self-discovery quest. And that mission is dependent on what they've told us or what they've experienced and decided during the experience. So we're really hoping that people will let us know what happens.
I'll add on to that. I mean, that's a very practical vision of what will happen. I also hope people donate a lot of money to help us pay for it.
That's practical.
Well, so that's practical, but no, like when you're like, what we hope will happen. I mean, when I'm like, I think we're opening some crazy metaphysical gate, like threshold. I'm just like, is it possible if enough people go through a collective shared experience and have a little bit of, and a lot of people are in altered states here. And, we're going to have, by the way, like, stewards holding the space, kind of the Zendo style, like sitting, so that we're doing this as carefully as we can with lots of disclaimers of like, we're going to ask you deep questions. This might be challenging. Are you well resourced? Are you really capable of going into this? So we're doing it responsibly. But with all that being said, what happened? Yeah, with an integration space at the back. But what happens when you have a lot of people in a consolidated place having breakthrough moments? What happens to the field? What is not the morphogenic field, but the resonance? There's a measurement that I can't remember that is continually spoken of that like shifts when good things happen or hard things happen. What is it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Overton window?
Something like that.
That's the political science term.
Anyway, I think something interesting is going to happen. And like, it is like consciousness could use a little, like, let off a little steam here. Let's let some air into the room. And maybe there's something around that can happen. Who knows?
I am always in pursuit of the emergent, the unpredictable. So,
and I'm holding the vision too, right? Like I'm holding that vision because I think, I'll say personally here, I've spent so much of my life feeling stuck and stagnant with shame around like, I feel broken. There's something wrong with me. And, I couldn't speak it out because I hadn't moved through it yet, and now being on the other side, I'm like, fuck, there's so many of us that, and I hope it's okay that I'm cursing so much. There's so many of us that are just like living our lives with this stuck inside. And that once I had met people who shared stories and gave me the permission to feel the feelings and showed me how to move through that stuckness in my body with psychedelics and also just with breath work and somatic and kundalini yoga, all these things. Once I had those models, everything could open up in an extraordinary way and I could move. And so, that is our hope, that we can start creating a new culture, like a movement that really makes this more available and that others start doing it elsewhere as well. And, that these sphinxes can travel to be a part of Meow Wolf and become part of like normal culture that says we can, also, we don't need the sphinxes for this, but we can peer support, hold each other in the collective adventure of asking, what are our traumas and our challenges and our obstacles? How are they here to help us grow? Like, what is the purpose? Like, can we reframe them not only as something that hurt us, the victim part is a normal step on the ladder, but as a teacher and a valuable teacher that we need. So that is the vision I hold I think we hold as we're doing this.
Yeah. I would say helping shift the perspectives around, as Marisa named, this sense that if there's something that you need to work on, something that you feel, shifting it from I'm sick and I need to be healed, or there's something wrong with me, I'm broken, which is extremely isolating. Our culture is not one that teaches to trust in your community, that if there's something that you have that you don't feel well, that we all have your back. It's very hard to talk about weakness, what might seem to be called weakness. And guess what? Every single human ever has things to figure out, has a potential to expand into, and basically a quest to choose if they decide to take that path. And there's some folks have harder hands than others to play, and we're not saying that therapy is to be avoided. We're saying that there's a different way of seeing it. That's not like I have a disease, I have a disorder. That there can be a way to step into a celebrated like beloved, trusting place where you can be vulnerable and you can learn. And I think that can make all the difference. I've experienced it. I believe it can make all the difference to feel like you've found community that accepts you for who you are and that loves you, or that has love, that shares love with others, and that what you've gone through is really valuable.
Yeah.
The Schumann resonance, that was the name of the measurement that I was.
Schumann resonance. Can you explain it?
Yeah, it is. The Earth's electromagnetic field naturally resonates at 7.83 hertz, and some theorists and spiritual communities see fluctuations in this frequency as connected to human consciousness or global emotional states. So they've been measuring it. I'm not necessarily saying I 100%, but it's a theory out there of that we can measure our well-being, and so that's the shift that I'm like, oh.
We should get them out there as one of their devices.
We need some data. We've been asking for people, because the system that we're playing with at the Burn of going through this like body, mind, heart, spirit, destiny, not spirit. Spirit is in everything, so we didn't make a station for it. But at least my theory. Community. But going through these stations is sort of a thing that has been play tested over years. It comes from a lot of storytelling background, hero's journey work that I've been also working in workshops. And so this structure of like, hey, you have a problem, work through it with these steps is actually a little system to play with and to try to also get data on how does it work, how do people feel about a problem before and how do they feel about that problem afterwards is something we're kind of calling in. So if anybody's out there listening to this, come join us as we make it more normal to deal with our problems and make it fun.
Yeah, and that is the key. Like we sound very serious, and this is very serious, and we're very mission driven. And there, the engine here again is art and play. So let's keep that in mind. It's not going to be like going to the therapist or group therapy. And we have a grand vision for this, like for us and for the world, of course, because that's who we are. Ambitious, I think, is the word that's most often used. But we would like to do museums of self-exploration, Muse, MUSE, where the immersive art, the purpose is actually for you to learn about yourself. Museum of self-exploration. And we want to do those everywhere. We want to create exhibits and have partners and take things around the world and really catalyze a movement. Like you get to plan that, right? You can just say, I'm going to catalyze a movement.
You can aim to try. Similar to the Reno Sheriff's Department. So I think, one thing we can dig into here is Marisa and I were chatting about art projects as community builders and as integration tools. Given that we both work in psychedelics often, pending the Sphinx Gate sabbatical, I think, if you want to call it that, I think there's something really interesting about building something like this, but building something like this is even more interesting when you're doing it with people who aren't necessarily like, the original visioners, so you have to like share it and then, kind of co-create, which I'm sure has been quite the learning journey for you too.
Amazing. Yeah.
I feel like you're opening up a couple of interesting things. You started with this idea of, so I think what Joe was mentioning as we were talking is this idea of that the world could use a little more integration, but it doesn't always have to be connected to psychedelics necessarily. And, this project here is very much, this project came to be in 2018, biking across the playa, being like, wouldn't it be cool if the Sphinxes from the Neverending Story were here? And then the next year I told people, somebody with me was like, oh yeah, I want to help you. And then the next year it was with Health Maps. People are like, yeah, we want to help you. And then, and it just kept snowballing and put online. More people kept coming on and it really started taking off. And after doing it for like 2 years or a year and a half, it was just, I kind of had to tune in and be like, this has to be bigger than just bringing something cool from our favorite movie that everybody wants to see on Playa. there has to be a deeper meaning, or like a the Sphinxes in the film can look into your heart and see if you feel your own worth. And with that became that, as we were like, okay, how do we bring that to the play? How do we play with that? Came this whole exploration of how do you assess whether people can feel their own worth? What is worth? A lot of questions around this, and how do we gamify this process of knowing ourselves, which has turned into basically a sort of a ceremony in one way. We want to stay a little bit away from making it too ceremonial, because we don't want to make it hard work. But this idea of taking people into what is the riddle of your mind. So what's going to happen on play is, what is the hard thought in your head? That you're feeling that's getting you a little stuck? Can we bring some presence and shift how we relate to it? Can we feel it in our body? Can we give it compassion and recognize that hard thought isn't something that is a measure of who we are? It's rather, something we might have inherited from our environment. And then into like, what is it here to teach us? So these steps here kind of are very similar to what happens in a psychedelic journey, or when you make sense after a psychedelic journey of your experience, especially, like I have some psychedelic storytelling programs. The hero's journey and is always just like, what is the hard thing teaching you? How are you shifting because of your abyss moments? What is the old way you used to see the world? What is the big thing that happened? And what is the new way you're seeing the world?
Yeah.
And that is like sort of this integration process that that we're basically bringing without the psychedelic part, without the actual journey part, through this quest that we're creating.
I mean, the word psychedelic can be used to things that aren't chemicals, that aren't substances. Like, you can have psychedelic experiences in with any level of whatever.
Right. And
Friday. But there's also, as Marisa started to say, there is the next phase of envisioning your empowered, your expansion, the next you. And also identifying what the meaning of who you are as you, from throughout your arcs, many arcs in your life, like who you are in community.
And so it creates this, what it essentially does is creates an integration experience without the psychedelic. And one question I've been asking for a while is like, can we just create more spaces to integrate life that you don't need to have a psychedelic to have an integration experience. We just need to pause and say, oh, wow, the last 3 years were really hard. I went through a divorce. I went through this thing. And like, it doesn't need to be outsourced to a therapist necessarily, although that can often help, right? Like, that's wonderful when it's necessary, but it doesn't need to be, and it can be done in community and in other ways. So just this idea of how can we create more spaces in life to ask what is the meaning we're making of life, and how can we integrate that meaning into ourselves is kind of a thing we're playing with here. And I think that's what we were talking about, Joe.
I also think that Joe is bringing us to, the process of creation that comes up at Burning Man and other places and many, many other festivals, but in particular, this like community co-creation of our vision, and at Burning Man last year, it was pretty much Marisa and I, and now our team is huge. By the beginning of the year, it was 5. And then I think in May, I jotted down 50 something different roles that had come on board. So it has been such an incredibly magical, challenging, joyful, like gratitude inducing experience. And it just seeing folks really get what we've been stouting for so long, just really taking it and feeling it and being really into it has been the most joyful experience.
Did you make any new friends?
And we'd love to have more people come on board too.
What's that, Joe?
Did you make any new friends?
Oh my God. So many. From like 2020, I was on a podcast with Leah Friedwoman and was speaking about this. And Melanie Pincus, who Joe, Actually, that's how Joe and I first got to know each other. I think through
nice.
Dina. But Melanie is a neuroscientist who heard me on the podcast and was like, I want to be a part of that. And so she reached out. We actually had some other weird magical threads and we became really good friends. She like came out to Costa Rica. We lived together for stretches. She actually just flew here to Oakland she's gonna she's helping, she's one of the leads on the immersive part of the experience. There are so many dear friends now that like are sisters and brothers and just like amazing humans that have come in through this because of this.
Like we said earlier, we don't have to go through all of them, but the magic, the improbability of so many of the connections that have happened, it's kind of staggering.
There's been places where we're like, I don't know if this is gonna happen, and it's been really hard. And I mean, one of the biggest, it's also obviously like it's such a teacher. This is the most insane huge thing. I mean, not only are we so Tanya and I, neither of us have ever been, Tanya's worked on a bunch of big art, but neither of us have been at the helm of big art, and nor like this level of big experience design. Like both of us are quite new to this level of expansion, and the like pulling this off has taken such an insane amount of faith and holding the vision, and also just having, for me, it's been this practice of like, all right, if it doesn't work out, it's okay, because we're doing amazing things. The journey has been really joyful, and how can I hold in my mind's eye all the possibilities of how this might work out? And right now, like we are we're at this really juicy place where everything is almost possible. Like in our most glorious vision, we're this close, and like we're needing, I don't know, a big swath of volunteers to come on to help us with the contouring, and probably like, well, I think we did our numbers. So if 60K came in, it would be a dream, because we'd be able to make sure that these sphinxes are like contoured and that they have skin.
Contoured means skins?
No, contoured means shaping. I'm for those listening, I'm like looking at my arm here right now. If some of these funds don't come in, our sphinxes might not have full arms and legs. We have a list of priorities where we're like, okay, the wings are really important. The boobs are pretty important. The sphinxes need boobs. But we're doing it a little.
Donate for boobs.
Donate for boobs.
They need support.
Adopt a Sphinx program that we're launching. Actually, maybe that can come out when this comes out, because it should be done. Poster for that. But like, you can be responsible for making sure our sphinxes have laser eyes and beautiful breasts and like have the body. But it has just been a really, really, really hard time for raising funds. Burning Man's been having a hard time. Everybody's been having a hard time with this. It's been, I think, the hardest it's ever been. And we're still feeling so like blessed and loved, and like small donations are coming in. But, I think we really have the potential to make a big shift in things. And so if there's anyone out there who is wanting to make a difference in mental health and mental wellness, and make it fun and find the joy and make it splashy and flashy, we're doing it. Help us, please,
right.
Please.
And this is continuing. Like Burning Man is the glorious, for like a launch. And we want to run the experience, the whole thing, beyond Burning Man. So
it's built modularly. It can travel. Yeah. It can be in city, street, urban spaces. It can be, again, with Meow Wolf. It can go on a festival.
And not one. Marisa was talking about us diving into the deep end on building this. Such a beautiful, huge project. It's not one but two monumental sculptures, which are going to be like the highest thing out on Playa this year. And then it's not just that, it's a whole installation with experiences that are there to answer the challenge of the Sphinxes and walk the gate, dare the laser eyes.
Oh yeah, Joe, I don't think we really talked about the laser eye part.
That sounds dangerous.
No.
No, we've got certified experts who know how to make sure nobody goes blind because
Or gets their clothes burned up.
yeah,
No one's gonna catch fire.
We're kind of reframing the lasers, in the film. So back to the film here, the Sphinxes can look into your heart and see if you feel your own worth, and most don't know their own worth, and so the Sphinxes can see that, and they slowly open their eyes, shoot lasers, and fry whoever's trying to go through dead. It's a very dramatic, scary, terrifying moment.
That's the surface story.
That's the surface story.
We have our own ideas.
We have our own ideas, but and our version of this is, again, the Sphinxes can look into your heart and are inviting you to better know thyself, and we're taking people through this quest to collect their own wisdom of their lived experiences. What is their current challenge here to teach them? And then they bring this to the feet of the Sphinxes, and the Sphinxes will open their eyes, shoot lasers, and what happens, what it means to everyone going through. Everyone can make up their own meaning. My meaning is that we're beaming this wisdom out to the greater field, again, adjusting the morphic resonance, and helping wake humanity up. But that's my own little pet framing there. And then that everybody gets to go afterwards and get a mission based off of whatever their challenge is by the oracle inside the body of the Sphinx, and have an integration space after.
You're giving away some of the magic. Just saying. Spoiler alert.
Those of you on the fence of coming to Burning Man know that there's a lot of magic there. Maybe it'll convince them to come.
And we're gonna have a bunch of really fun events.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Black Rock Philharmonic.
Of them? Like
Black Rock Philharmonic. Sorry, what?
Yes.
Black Rock Philharmonic is playing on Thursday night.
With the Playa Choir.
Yeah, the Playa Choir. This brings out thousands of people. This is
so touched that they're coming to our space to do this.
Such a treat.
Yes.
We have a Paiute leader who will be speaking at our opening ceremony on Monday, as well as Sphinxian opening ritual, calling into the wisdom of the Sphinxes. We're trying to call in art cars with lasers to join us in a big laser show that night. That's one vision. Tuesday is Tycho is playing, and of the sunset. So our programming is basically from 6 to 9 most nights, and then after that we're going to be going into programming with the Sphinxes and the lasers and the whole thing.
The experience will kick off from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a beautiful place to see the sunrise. You'll see.
Although who knows? These are long ass days. I do not know if how many of these sunrises are going to.
Well, I always see sunrise.
You always see the sunrise.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to see some sunrises.
Two things. Paiute, is that the local? Can you speak about that a little bit?
So Nicole Nakau is leading that, and his name is Josh. I am just trying to find the details on it. I don't think I have them.
So the Paiute tribe that has resided on that land and on and around the big old lake bed, Black Rock Desert, they are have for some time now been very much in touch with the Burning Man Festival and have a presence. And it's mandatory for us in our own integrity to invite the local native stewards of that land to bless what we're doing, to accept it.
Apparently there was a big battle on these lands, and so he's going to share a bit about that, open up with a tobacco prayer, calling the directions, and yeah, I'm sure that we really ground this big experience in this tradition.
Yeah, I think it's important to, mention that this is kind of a awkward land situation for sure.
You mean the
It's
United
been
States?
highlighted. Well, that also this. Um, the fact that there's feds everywhere, there's all sorts of really weird stuff going on out there. People need to be careful at Burning Man. This is one of my
this is
talk
true.
tracks.
This is true.
There's a lot of folks that don't really get a good talking to about how they need to play it right, how they need to also respect everything that's going on their way into Playa and on Playa. We've all seen some pretty bad behavior out there, and like the idea is that we want to kind of model really great behavior. So find yourself some mentorship, and try to be kind when we can. Yeah. 'Cause, sometimes we're going to lose our shit and can't be kind, but let's lean in.
I think that the experiment of Burning Man is a really great opportunity to level up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen so much growth there for me personally, and I think I've seen a lot of folks say the same thing. So I think this kind of art project, I think, is going to be a really cool example of that, and the interactivity, transmersive nature of it, and just the fact that you're getting so many other artists to contribute and play with your work, it's going to be really cool. So another question I had was around what happens after. Where does it go afterwards? Does it continue to live? Does it get transmuted into something different? No.
Bigger and better in version 2.0, when we have the ability to fiberglass the whole thing and really get the projections dialed in, because there's a lot of magic that we've dreamed up that we don't have the resources, or did not have the resources to bring this year. There's so much more magic that we've cooked up over, 4 or 5 years of working on something.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things that we had to like slowly axe because we weren't able to fund it. But the plan is to bring it back from the burn, fiberglass it. I mean, we need to raise another $70,000 after this raise to get the fiberglassing, and then from there, decompression is happening. And Tanya, this is something I've been meaning to message you with. It's just like, it would be really cool for us to bring the big full version to decompression. It's a nice deadline. And then at least this way we can have it complete, get to show it to our community and share it. And run the whole
it's
big
very wanted.
Yeah.
Plus decompression is happening where we're building.
Yeah. It's a very easy.
Rather convenient.
And then after that, yes, like, who knows someone at Meow Wolf, who knows someone at the Wisdom or the other spaces that are hosting these sort of things? How might we, either take it on tour or plug it into there where people can run it and staff it there? There's just
Wisdom's still a thing.
I know that LA, I heard it was closing down, but I think the owners of that are bringing one to San Francisco, and it's supposed to be near the, was it you telling me about this? Joe, I think you mentioned it.
I don't really want to comment too much about Wisdom, but I don't. Anyway, let's keep moving. I'll tell you off air.
Whatever places are doing good work and holding, whatever, wherever this is a right fit, we'd love to bring it. And if it could also live on Market Street or like on the Embarcadero or something, how cool would that be? There's a lot of possibilities. So we're open to them all. And also, if they started to line up now, we could use that money to help pay for things now. So
yeah,
putting that into the ether, and holding a vision.
Yeah, a future lease, a future rental. Yeah. So like people would go and like help set it up and like do installation work with it. And that's pretty great. And it's going to be portable enough.
Yeah,
we designed it early. Yeah.
Yeah, this was designed to be a touring exhibit.
Engineering approved to go everywhere except the worst of hurricane season. So like, yeah.
No hurricane season in Florida on the eastern seaboard. Other than that,
we're good for Loveburn. We got approved for Loveburn. So yeah.
Engineering wise, or you're going to be at Loveburn?
No, engineering wise.
Engineering wise.
But who knows? We just planted a seed. Let's see. I mean, these things won't be cheap to ship around. They're, built out of steel frame. It's
a couple of trailers, maybe 3, maybe 4 at the most. Concerts, a lot of concert tours have twice as many trucks.
I think Loveburn has budget. So Loveburn people, go check it out. Put in a good word. I'm working with a small team to hopefully put in an application for a project there. So we'll see if it works.
Cool.
Yeah. The shitty karaoke?
No, but that's really lovely.
You want to tell us about it?
Oh God, it's not my project, but I participate. So it's effectively karaoke songs with poop-themed lyrics.
Next to a porta potty.
Right. They were the first ever at Unscrews to ask for placement right next to Portos.
I feel like I know who your lead is. That's funny. We'll talk about it later.
So we're doing
Somebody
Tuesday
had to do
night
it.
In competition with your Tycho set Tuesday night. The Crab will be playing somewhere. We don't.
Joe, I know you're allergic to scheduling, and I fully respect that. But like, just think of that Friday night as a really bookmark that, because it's going to be really good music, and all the dragons are going to be there, and I think the Crab and the dragons will be friends.
Well, because eventually the dragons will all turn into crabs, because that's the way. There's so many. You have one of the crab art cars. That's awesome.
Yeah, big crab car.
Nice.
The one that looks the most cartoonish.
It's a lovely little ride. Well, not that little. It's a good size ride.
Yeah, it's a real minivan, kind of. All right. So I think we're tailing the end. We made the ask. People, if you can contribute to art projects, please do, including the Sphinx Gate. They need support. It's going to be a really interesting and transformative and laser zappy experience, and a lot of music. Like, I was just, when you threw out Tycho, I was like, wait, what? The one that everybody goes to? And then I'm like, I was like, oh, that crowd's too big for me. I was like, got itchy. I was like, oh God, I gotta go. But I already booked at the Portos for that night anyway. So then I got excited for you. And then I was so happy to see how much interest there was from other art cars, sound cars included.
Yeah, Abraxas is going to do the sunrise over there. I love Abraxas sunrise, one of my traditions.
I've never hung out on Abraxas at all. I need to spend at least 20 minutes there this year.
They're friends. They're deep friends. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's really wild. And for those of you who are not going to Burning Man or have no desire to go to Burning Man, look out for Fantasia Fridays coming to your town.
And if you're in Oakland, we're having a party this Saturday.
Oh yeah, we're having a huge party.
I mean, this is a bigger podcast, but anyone in the Bay Area, we have a party on Saturday. Everything is on our website, thesphinxgate.com. And please,
or just search for Oakland Art Beat. Yeah. Oakland Art Beat. It'll come up. The entire point here is to integrate burner culture and our art with with our actual communities here in the Bay Area. This is something that is a vibrant, living, breathing, beautiful, transformative community, and we want to gift the joy that and the magic that we experience to the world. So this is a party for that.
I wouldn't limit it to just the Bay Area, because we also we really we have this vision of bringing parts of Know Thyself and creating that culture online as well, and making that bigger. And I mean, we have friends in Denver who are like, hey, we'll help you throw a party. We have friends in LA. We've been playing with this.
Portland,
New York. Let's throw a big party. I've gotten really good at producing.
I'm looking for you in Denver for sure, Denver. But
yeah, so yeah.
We're also Burnersphere just launched their own platform. So the thing that brought us to a burn during COVID, during lockdown, has just continued to grow, and their goals were not met by the platforms out there. So they're incredible. They do such a beautiful job. So people who are not able or abled to come to Burning Man can experience the art, and it's really all about the art. We didn't mention that earlier, but it's all about the art for me at least. That's what Burning Man is for. So this group is going to create a whole virtual experience of our experience, And right now you can see a rendering that we did for our design on Burner Sphere. It's really exciting. I really want to. I
can't
want
wait to learn about that platform
to increase access.
I know nothing about that platform, and I'm excited to learn about it.
Yeah, the idea here is to build access, not to have an exclusive experience.
Oh, I thought exclusivity was one of the principles. No, kidding. Anyway, let's wrap and check out the Sphinx Gate online on a bunch of different socials. Got a website too. Do you want to shout out any of the socials or anything?
TheSphinxGate.com. On Instagram, it's at The Sphinx Gate. Yeah, I think if you want to donate, all the links are right at the top of the SphinxGate.com. Everything is there. So
yeah, THE, the Sphinx Gate. There's another one.
I love that.
Joe, you're the best. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, I hope it helps. I just found this on my cup. That's
oh, I love your car.
Really
know your car.
It's a photorealistic, I think. And if anybody wants to donate, that's at Big Crab Car, crab with a K, because it's not a real crab. And I can't wait. It's gonna be such a fun year. So stoked to see you all out there and check it out. Thanks for joining me. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much.
Big hugs. Thank you, Joe.